Hi, I'm Sherry Fruits with Usborne Books and More. I'm an educational consultant who homeschools my children with classical conversations. I have 3 girls, and we've been doing classical conversations since my oldest was 4. This will be our 2nd time through Cycle 3. I'm so excited to share with you some of the resources we will be using this year for Cycle 3. Some of the general resources we use for all cycles. First is the Timeline of World History. This is a must-have for every Classical Conversations family. It goes through all the world history broken up by the continents, and so they can look at both their history sentences and timeline facts and see what was going on in the other parts of the world. This will also be a great resource in the challenge years when they're doing their cartography work and studying how the parts of the continents and countries changed. 2 more resources that I absolutely love are our Science Encyclopedia and our World History Encyclopedia. These are great resources for those weeks you just don't have time to go to the library, or those questions that come up and you just need some general information. Both of them are internet linked, which means there's a kids-safe website that you can go to get additional information. Also, on many pages you'll find a little star. These stars mean that you can print those diagrams or graphics from that website, which will be a great resource if your child wants to give a presentation on a topic they've been studying out of one of the encyclopedias. The final resource we use for all cycles is the Lift the Flap Picture Atlas. This is a great beginner atlas. It goes through the different continents, and on each continent are many flaps that you can lift and find out more information. The Trans-Siberian Railroad runs from St. Petersburg to the Far East, the route to the world's longest continuous train journey. All kinds of information. The other great feature of this book is in the back there's a large world map. This can be hung on your wall, and underneath the map are the flags of all the countries in the world. Great resource for your homeschool area. For Cycle 3, we'll be studying U.S. history and American history and U.S. geography. One of the books we're going to start with is Who Were the First North Americans? Usborne Books is a European children's publisher, so this is a book written from a European standpoint, so it'll have a little bit different perspective. So it's going to start talking about some of those first people that lived in North America, and then it's going to end with the Vikings and Christopher Columbus. Lots of great information to extend our memory work. 2 picture books that would add a lot of detail to our memory work is I Love You, Americanly and Wonders of the USA. Wonders of the USA is one of our Shine-a-Light flashlight books. We have many books in this series, and they're great for birthday gifts to have on hand at any time. Each page ends with a question. The faces of the 4 presidents are carved into Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. Who was looking at them? And you'll shine a flashlight under and you see the image from behind. So you would see the people. When people come to see Mount Rushmore, almost 3 million tourists visit every year. And so this book goes through many of the national monuments and features in the United States. I Love You, Americanly is a really cute picture book that has kind of a sing-songy, rhymey poem to it. I love you wondrously like the Blue Ridge Mountains. I love you spectacularly like the Bellagio fountains. This would be a fun book to read with all the kids, and both of these, the younger kids could just enjoy, and the older kids could do some additional research on the different monuments and features they saw. Also, Americanly is a great extension to Essentials when we learn about the LY words. For science, we'll be starting with your body. We have lots of resources on the body. 2 of our flat books that are very popular is Look Inside and See Inside Your Body. The Look Inside books are designed for our younger 3 to 6-ish age range. So they're going to give you lots of information, but start pretty basic. In this one, talking about eating food, it starts your food's journey starts when you put it into your mouth. Teeth crush your food so it's mushy enough to swallow. And underneath there's even an additional one. It says gulp. The See Inside Your Body is for a little bit older, so 5 to 9. In this book, it just gives a little more in-depth information, but still full of flaps. So here it says spit glands start to dissolve your food. It's mode glands like this one. It's made in glands like this one, the spit gland. Then when you open it up, your tongue rolls the food into a ball and pushes it into your food pipe, and down the food goes. For those kids that are constantly asking questions, Lift the Flap Question Answer About Your Body is a great resource. This is going to go through the different questions. When, where, how do my ears hear? Sound travels through your ear and makes parts of it vibrate and ripple. So a great book just for fun to help with those kids that are constantly asking questions. Finally, the Big Book of the Body is a great resource. It's got all kinds of information in it, but it's got these fold out flaps that are going to show you the different systems of our body. Here's the muscular system and the skeletal system. So this will be a great way to practice your memory work and help it be even more exciting and fun just due to the large size. Finally, we have 3 reference books on the human body. The start is the Usborne Human Body Reference Book. This is a very basic reference book about the human body. It's going to give some details and be a good resource just to look up quick information. If you want a little more information, check out First Encyclopedia of the Human Body. This is also an internet linked book like I mentioned with the encyclopedias. And so it's got a little more information. This would be a great resource for a kid who's able to read and going through the cycle for the first time. For a child going through the cycle for the second time, you may want to check out the Usborne Complete Book of the Human Body. It's just going to go into even more depth of information. This too is internet linked. Finally, we'll end the year with chemistry. There's some information in the Science Encyclopedia on chemistry, but for those kids going through it a second time and you want to give more depth, the Illustrated Dictionary of Chemistry will be a great resource. This will answer any question you might have and help push them to want to learn more. This would definitely be high school, if not even collegiate level information on chemistry. One final science resource I really like is the Usborne Outdoor Book. Lee Bortons talks about having a science journal and sending the kids outside to study what they find. This will help give them additional ideas of activities to do, and they can take their journal along and draw and write about what they see out in nature. For our English grammar work, the Illustrated Grammar and Punctuation book is a great resource. This year we'll be studying verbs. Right here it talks about verb tenses. What is the infinitive? What is the present participle? Continues, what's the past participle? This is also a great resource for essentials. It's going to just go a little more in depth and give your kids a quick study resource when they have questions. If you want to extend Latin, the first 1,000 words in Latin is a nice resource. This is full of all kinds of Latin vocabulary, so they can just practice learning some vocabulary, but then also see if they can find samples of our memory work throughout. For math, one of my favorite resources is the Lift the Flap Times Table. This is a great book for studying our skip counting. Along the edge of each page is our skip counting, so your younger ones can just practice their song. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. The older kids can practice their facts. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. There's also story problems with the flaps. If a planet has 3 moons, how many moons do 7 planets have? 3 times 7 is 21. It goes through all the numbers. My favorite page is the 12s. The 12s has a Ferris wheel to practice. If your student likes more of a workbook style, we have the Times Table Activity Book. This book still has the skip counting along the side they can practice, but then has additional workbook activities that they can do to practice those facts. One final math resource that's a great one to have on hand is the Illustrated Elementary Math Dictionary. This is just a general math resource that would be great to go along with the math curriculum that you're using. When you're doing a lesson and you or your child are confused, this would be a great resource just to get a little more information, maybe a new explanation to help understand what it is that you're studying. Also, we have our fine arts time. At the beginning of the year, we learn all the elements of drawing and the oils. The step-by-step drawing series is a great resource to extend your oils practice at home. This is the basic drawing book. There's also one on dinosaurs and people. You can see at the beginning it shows all the elements of drawing to build up to the picture. There's lots of space to practice your drawing. I also love to send this book outside with a box of chalk and let them practice outside and fill up the sidewalk. For your older children, This Is Not a Math Book is a great resource to practice those basic elements of drawing. I know it says math, but really this is an art book. But it shows the kids the relationship between math and art. This would be a great resource for a kid that's a little more artistic or going through the cycles for a second time. Finally, for orchestra, we have several great resources. The first book about the orchestra goes through all the different families in the orchestra, and you actually get to listen. What a fun book. We have two reference books. We have classical music and famous composers. These two are internet linked as well and have QR codes so you can look up the information quickly and often even hear the music that's being talked about by that composer or that time period. So these would be a great resource to add to your orchestra time at the end of the year. I hope you found a couple resources that are going to extend your Classical Conversations Foundation's memory work this year. If you have any questions, please reach out and check me out at Usborne Books and More with Sherry Fruits. Have a great day.